We've all sat in the theater and stewed as our favorite superheroes were butchered on the silver screen. That's not how the plot goes, you shout. Not all portrayals of our favorite characters will be favorable, and sometimes these portrayals are downright awful.
Gotta say, it's fantastic.
And sometimes superhero films are so bad, they become kinda good.
Not bad, huh? You're a superhero.
No matter how much of a hobo fire certain films might be, it's usually possible to find some redeeming quality to them. Here are our picks for superhero movies that are both good and bad. Don't leave us hanging. If you haven't already, click on the subscribe button below and become a member of our notification squad.
Do it!
You'll be the first to know when hot new content drops.
Oh my God, Hal!
How did you know it was me?
What do you mean? I've known you my whole life. I've seen you naked. You don't think I would recognize you because I can't see your cheekbones?
The Green Lantern. The only thing good about Green Lantern, some might say, is Ryan Reynolds.
I know, right?
While his performance was excellent and paved the way for him to land the role of Deadpool later, the rest of the film left a lot to be desired. Sure, it was a passable attempt at a Green Lantern film, but the use of CGI, poor writing, and apathetic villains made the film less of a thriller and more of a fight to stay awake. No matter how good an actor might be, they can't make badly written lines sound good. The villain is defeated relatively easily, and the way is set up for a sequel that might have been more exciting had it ever been made. Fortunately, or unfortunately, this was the last Green Lantern film produced. While it may be possible to make one that is salvageable in the future, it'll take some work. Maybe they should hire Patty Jenkins. She did wonderful things with Wonder Woman.
Well, that's good advice.
All criticism aside, if someone wants to attempt to make a great Green Lantern movie, no one would be opposed to it, but the movie would have to go really above and beyond. Fans have been burned before.
Hell's Kitchen is my neighborhood. I prowl the rooftops and alleyways at night, watching from the darkness.
Daredevil. Daredevil, the 2003 film, no, not the Netflix series, leaves a bit of a bad taste in most people's mouths. It's not that the film was necessarily bad, but it certainly wasn't good. The combination of poor acting choices, terrible CGI, and a shoddy execute plot hurt the film's public reception. Although it follows the story of Matt Murdock and his fight to clean up Hell's Kitchen somewhat well, the inclusion of the assassin Bullseye, and the way Wilson Fisk is portrayed incensed fans of the comics. They felt the film didn't stay true to its source material, and Elektra's death was rushed. Although she does die in the comics, her death is part of a larger plot. If the producers intended to follow through with this plot in sequels to the film, we're not sure. What we do know is that although we enjoyed seeing Daredevil's powers on the silver screen, the Netflix original series pulled it off far better than the movie could ever dream of. The one thing this movie did do really well was the Daredevil symbol in the flames. That's something we could get behind seeing in every single Netflix episode. Just don't try to recreate it in your front yard at home.
Let's ride.
Ghost Rider. In theory, Ghost Rider should be an excellent movie. A flame-wreathed demon of vengeance that controls hellfire with a wickedly cool chain whip? Yeah, please. However, like most films that star Nicolas Cage, sorry Nick, it fell a little short.
His face was a skull, and it was on fire.
On fire?
Yeah, like that much fire.
The over-the-top acting and cheesy special effects took away from the serious nature of the film. On the other hand, it was one of the first instances of Ghost Rider many people have seen. Fans also got the chance to see the penance glare in action, which makes the rest of the film almost worth it despite the various shortcomings. Nicolas Cage claims he tried to give Johnny Blaze more depth, but fans didn't want depth. They wanted the Johnny Blaze that drinks too much and is an all-around badass. Without that character, Ghost Rider fell a bit flat, almost as flat as a motorcyclist that doesn't quite know how to control his vehicle.
The world will survive, and it deserves more than you've been able to provide.
Watchmen. The Watchmen comics were insanely popular when they first released, as the idea of a dystopian, cynical take on superheroes had never been done before. This was one of Snyder's first movies that gained any real level of recognition. While the adaptation of the film was accurate enough, its critical success left something to be desired. Watchmen is now a cult classic, much loved and adored by a core group of fans, but not on any must-see list. Dr. Manhattan is an odd-looking character composed almost entirely of CGI, and the almost satirical take on the superhero genre rubs some of the fans the wrong way.
It's a joke.
Superheroes are many people's role models, not targets for mockery. On the other hand, the film uses a lot of the music mentioned in the comics, a nice touch that didn't go unnoticed by fans. While we recommend checking out Watchmen at least once for its cultural impact, it's not a superhero film that demands you see it. When held against other films with more critical success like The Avengers, Watchmen just doesn't compete.
What, boy?
Bad guys?
Would you want a cookie? Get out of my face.
Hancock. Hancock is classified as a superhero comedy drama, and it's almost right. Almost. The film places Will Smith as an alcoholic hero with no memory of his past, nor any idea of how he received his powers. Although he helps the city out in numerous ways, his antics cause destruction that leave Los Angeles in near ruins. When he's ordered to come to court, he ignores the subpoenas and goes about his day. The turning point arrives when Hancock saves a PR rep named Ray from a train, who then in turn offers to change his public image.
What? It's a little tight. What you got?
Hancock finds himself immediately attracted to Ray's wife and ends up kissing her. However, she throws him through a wall and into the street, leaving Hancock confused that she has powers like him. The woman reveals that they are both the last members of an immortal race, and as they come closer together, their powers diminish. Hancock ends up leaving after she is wounded in a fight so that she can heal using her own powers, and knows that he can never return lest she die. It's a poignant ending to a film that has too much lore to fit into 2 hours.
Gotta say, it's fantastic.
Yes, it is.
Fantastic Four. The 2015 film was the first Fantastic Four film fans had seen in some time, and they hoped it would be the movie they've always wanted. Unfortunately, that didn't quite work out as intended. The film was a bust. It tried to tell the origin story of the Fantastic Four, but did not bother to stick to the source material. Rather than have the team already established as scientists that encountered cosmic rays, the 2015 film had them crash land on a planet after taking on an experimental portal. This portal would go on to be one of the main plot points of the entire film.
It's basically a child's drawing.
You know what Albert Einstein said? If you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it well enough.
To make matters worse, Dr. Doom is not even close to being the character he was originally envisioned as. Rather than someone that sees all potential futures and fights to destroy Earth for a good cause, he simply hates humanity and is driven by greed and hubris.
That place gave me strength.
Power. What kind of power?
The kind men like you must never possess.
The character is two-dimensional. All the potential for character development with Dr. Doom is wasted. Films need a sympathetic, well-developed villain as much as they need protagonists with the same traits. The film has neither, and it suffered immensely for it, both in consumer and critical success.
Ooh, shiny.
X-Men Origins Wolverine. If the name alone isn't hint enough, this film is about Wolverine's origins as one of the X-Men. Although he was already a mutant, the experiments performed on Wolverine by his former team member Stryker made Wolverine even stronger by fusing adamantium to his bones. The film itself wasn't that bad. Seeing Wolverine's origin story was a fun romp in the X-Men universe, even if the fans don't consider it to be canonical. The worst part of the film was the portrayal of Deadpool.
Granted, it's probably not as intimidating as having a gun or bone claws or the fingernails of a bag lady. Manicure.
For some reason, his mouth had been sewed shut. As anyone who knows Deadpool will attest, one of the best parts of his character is the smart comments and wicked sense of humor, hence his Merc with a Mouth moniker.
I know, right?
The CGI that accompanied the fight also left a lot to be desired, but there's a silver lining. Ryan Reynolds' portrayal of Deadpool in this film helped ensure that the Deadpool movie would be possible at some point in the future. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Hold your groans. Between the CGI, the awful writing, and Megan Fox, it's easy to see why fans absolutely hate this movie. As far as the canonical, true to the source material goes, this movie isn't it. However, if you need a way to kill a couple hours, that's a fun experience if you look at it the right way, then the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movie isn't the worst option. Sure, there's too much obsession with pizza, but it's the Turtles. What do you expect? Although the sense of humor is juvenile even for a movie geared towards 13-year-old boys.
Oh, Neil, what are you doing? Yeah, that's good. Make sure you're getting everything.
There are a few cheap laughs to be had and a few scenes exciting enough to keep your attention, if only for a short time. The film's main weakness is that it's simply dull. It's not the worst movie ever made, but it's not entertaining enough to keep you focused for very long.
Who are you? I'm KickAss.
KickAss. KickAss stayed true to the source material, but the fact is that the source material just wasn't very good. While the film showed how ludicrous the idea of real-life superheroes is, it also utilized gallows humor and the antics of teenagers to convey the message. Some fans loved this style of storytelling, while others found it a bit tasteless and boring. That said, the casting of the film could not have been better. Chloe Grace Moretz and Nick Cage stole the show as Hit Girl and Big Daddy.
Hit Girl, back to headquarters.
Sweet dreams.
while Aaron Johnson portrayed the role of a nerdy, awkward superhero wannabe better than anyone else could have. The ridiculous nature of the film reached its climax when the main villain is launched out the window of his office by a shot from a bazooka, which then explodes in midair, killing him and paving the way for KickAss 2's vengeful son narrative. The film was divisive. Either you loved it or you hated it. It fell victim to the same problems Watchmen did. It did not take superheroes seriously enough, and that's what viewers want when watching a movie about people with powers.
Save Martha! What does that mean? Why did you say that name?
Batman vs. Superman. Let's take a moment to still our surprise, and then another moment to count all the strange moments in the movie. What about the way awkward moment when the two realized their mothers shared the same name?
Why did you say that name?
Stop!
Why did you say that name?
It's his mother's name!
Martha.
And somehow that creates a bromance to last a lifetime.
I'm a friend of your son's.
I figured. The cape?
What on earth was that? Batman vs. Superman made a number of design choices that simply didn't make any sense at all. The gritty, dark nature of the film tried to stay serious but came across as silly. So what's good about it? Easy. Wonder Woman. This was her first appearance, and although fans didn't like to admit it, she's the only saving grace the film has. It also paved the way for the recent Wonder Woman film that's still leaving jaws hanging open at how good it is, particularly in comparison to the train wreck that Batman vs. Superman was. All we can do is hope that Justice League learns from the previous DC films and steps up the game. Wonder Woman was a step in the right direction, and more films like that could turn around everyone's perception of DC.
It's cherry.
Superheroes are soaked into our cultural consciousness that we can't live without them. They teach us that good always overcomes evil, except perhaps the evil of poor directing and bad writing. What entry was your favorite? Are there any films you disagree with or we left out? Comment below and let us know. Don't forget to subscribe to CBR's playlist for all your entertainment needs. Thanks for watching.